Buenos dias, senor. Touch wood, so far so good. It seems to be working fairly well.
Yeah, you sound pretty good from Argentina.
Uh,
Well, Robbie, I got off on a tangent on today and just kind of pontificating, but I had planned to talk about this important article that I saw on Zero Hedge, and it's what I am to you right before the shows, and I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it. I wanted to be sure and tell the audience about it because I haven't seen anything this thorough on this subject in quite some time, and it's absolutely critically important. And it's interesting that it's coming out right now. And that's an article at Zero Hedge today, and it's the Bank of England corrects a widespread myth. They admit that loans come first and then deposits follow. And it goes into some length. There's a video I have not been able yet to watch because of my slow net at home. But there's a lot of quotes and an awful lot of explanation on exactly how this monetary system works and the fact that it's a scam. Now, what they don't cover in here, and I encourage all of you to read this. Maybe we'll talk about it in more depth tomorrow because I wanted to do this anyway today. But what they don't cover, it's always what they fail to say. And they talk about the money creation and all that stuff, and I'll let you guys read through it with great quotes and great background and some very, very thorough information on this topic. But what they don't say is the way that they're doing it is with promissory notes. When someone signs a loan, a promissory note, a promise to pay a future income stream with your signature that you've agreed to on a legal document. And that is what then really becomes what we would think of as money. And it is that document, the promissory note, this Babylonian contract, merchant law contract stuff, that they take over to the financial institution and then put on the books as a liability to the institution. You'd think that it's a future income stream, you've agreed to pay it, you've signed it, you'd think that that would be considered a debit because it's something positive, even if it's in the future, it's contractual. But no, they bring it over to the financial institution and they put it in double entry bookkeeping on the liability side of the ledger. Then they take, because of the ability to put notes and discount them into the secondary market, now that note is sold to an investor at a discount, and he brings that money back, and that is the money that they're talking about, that the deposits are created afterwards. The first act is putting the promissory note as the liability, exchanging it into the secondary market, bringing those monies back and putting them as the debit on the other side of the ledger. Now, what's interesting when you understand the machinations of it, so it's just total plain fraud. They never loaned you anything. You loaned them, if you will, your signature on the promissory note. But, Robbie, in my reading and study of this, and this was only recently that I saw it somewhere, and there was a quote from Thomas Jefferson, my favorite of the founders, and he said, you cannot allow the discounting of notes. And that's exactly what he was trying to curtail, was them bringing in this system. Because if they couldn't take that note and discount it into the secondary market and bring those funds back, they ain't got a ball game.
well, there are many people who I have come to follow over the years that obviously fully understood the implications, whether it be European fiat or American fiat, and that was a Swiss banker, actually a Rothschild banker, Ferdinand Lips, and much more recently a guy by the name of Egan van Greyes, who on a consistent basis gives speeches emphasizing the importance of getting your assets outside of the banking system, preferably in a physical form of either gold or silver, and to go one step further, to deposit those assets in vaults in either Hong Kong or Singapore. Now, there is a specific reason behind those depositories of British or American depositories, and that quite simply is their process of accepting bullion bars is far stricter than that of both the London Metals Exchange and the U.S. Federal Reserve. I mean, we recently found out, which wasn't a shock to many of us, that Germany's repatriation of a small amount of gold that it originally requested was not the same form of gold that it had originally deposited with the Federal Reserve back in World War II. And Jim Rickards got numerous reports from various Swiss refiners talking about the workloads that they were under. He made a personal trip to Switzerland, went and visited each of the 3 refineries, who had all put their staff on a 24/7 shift, and what they were doing was converting 400-ounce good delivery bars into 100-ounce pure gold bars, for the simple reason is that both the Hong Kong Mint and the Singapore Mint will only accept 100-ounce pure gold kilo bars for storage.
0.9995.
Yeah, pure gold, 24 karat.
Now let me ask you a question. Do you think that plays really into what the possibilities might be of a whole bunch of tungsten good delivery bars floating around?
Well, there's no question. You would have to ask yourself, why would a purchaser of a substantial amount of gold want to go through the added cost of having the bars re-smelted and re-poured in obviously smaller denominations such as the 100-ounce kilo bar. Obviously, they also make smaller denominations. But the interesting thing is that a lot of folks are not paying too much attention to, because all the air is being sucked out by the missing Malaysian aircraft, which has pretty much dominated the news over the past 12 days.
Any old distraction will do.
Well, even the possibility of World War III didn't interrupt the coverage of the Malaysian airline.
What's that feeling on that, Robbie?
To be perfectly honest with you, with all the theories that have been thrown around, I personally would like to find out more about what the cargo was that the plane was carrying. I mean, to date, all we've heard is it was maybe carrying a shipment of lithium batteries.
Something very heavy was put on there that was bulky on a pallet, evidently that was quite unusual. Now, the one thing when I read that was I remembered in 9/11, some of the background information was that the floors that had been remodeled, there were big pallet-type things of batteries or something that someone had said they'd seen them move up in the freight elevators to those floors that were remodeled, and those floors were the exact 2 floors that the planes impacted at. So my just a fleeting thought was, is there some sort of that sort of stuff that was put into the cargo hold?
Well, my